Around 30 members of the Gaza-bound aid flotilla, which was attacked with deadly force by the Israelis last week, were British citizens. And since their return from captivity, they've been scathing about Israel's actions and Britain's response to them. Survivors of the Gaza flotilla attack are gathering here to give their account of what happened that night. They want to counter the Israeli view that their soldiers were only defending themselves against so-called terrorists. They say that Israel, by its actions that night, has revealed its true self to the whole world. In a packed hall in central London, flotilla attack survivors recounted how the Israelis had started the violence by firing from helicopters on unarmed activists.
One of the Turkish passengers was shot the top of his head from a helicopter, and he died almost instantly. There was no soldier on board the ship when he was killed.
Other survivors told how the Israeli soldiers had treated their captives with contempt and casual violence, even going so far as to desecrate Qurans and Bibles.
We don't know how many people are getting injured. We don't know how many people are dead. As Jamal said, when we went downstairs to this scene of horror, this scene, we're slippering on blood. Like people, not just the injured people who was, I was covered with blood. My colleagues were covered with blood. So we don't know who's been injured, who's not injured, who've got the blood of others, who's killed. So it was really chaotic.
And all agreed that pro-Palestinians must use the opportunity provided by the recent tragic events to further isolate Israel through economic and political boycotts. And they pledged to keep sending more aid flotillas to break the Israeli economic siege of Gaza.
They have crossed a big Rubicon. An illegal action on the high seas, killing people in a humanitarian aid mission, on top of 1,400 being killed in Operation Cast Lead, on top of the assassination in Dubai, on top of all those Palestinians that are held illegally in Israeli prisons. It can't be far away that the European Union ends up having the bottle to say we are now going to suspend trade with this regime.
Israel says its soldiers were attacked by the activists after they boarded the Gaza-bound vessel in international waters. Tel Aviv says its soldiers had to defend themselves, otherwise they would have been lynched. Britain, meanwhile, has urged Israel to lift the siege of Gaza and has called for an international investigation into the killings. Roshan Mohammed Saleh, Press TV, London.